Hello and welcome to Real World Leadership, where we are bringing our best selves to life and leadership. I'm your host, Susan Johnson, founder of Truth Enterprise Partners, a talent development consulting and coaching firm focused on executive coaching, leadership development, and diversity and inclusion. We're based in the Atlanta area and we are in service to the world. Our vision is to inspire a world where authenticity, diversity, and truth are valued, and our aim is to bring out the true potential in people. It's what drives us to get up every day, and we hope to bring out the true potential in you. So thank you for joining us. And today at Real World Leadership, we have a guest speaker on the topic of relationship leadership as part of our series devoted to leadership attributes. Joining us is Trent Bowman, VP of CRA Business Development Officer and CRA Business Development Officer at Midwest One Bank. I've known Trent since high school, where he was our class president. He's since become a huge community advocate, a president and leader in the mortgage industry, helping families achieve their dreams of home ownership, as evidenced by the number of boards, councils, committees, and leadership groups that he serves in. Trent is a local initiative support council, advisory council member, and vice chair. He is a neighborhood economic opportunity network board member, and he's on a number of boards, too many to name. Actually, there are 10 or so. And Trent knows absolutely everyone, which is why I asked him to be our speaker today. I call him the unofficial mayor of Minneapolis, or North Minneapolis in particular. And so he's well suited to speak on our topic of relationship leadership. So Trent, welcome, and thank you for taking some time to join us on Real World Leadership today. Would you like to share anything about yourself that would be important for our audience to know?
Well, thank you, Susan, for having me. It's definitely a pleasure. And yes, we do go back a long ways, many, many years. So it's always good to see fellow classmates prospering and doing wonderful things within the communities and the communities that you are serving as well. So thank you for having me. Just a little on myself, I'm a local kid from North Minneapolis. Grew up in North Minneapolis, and I enjoyed being in Minneapolis. And I just feel that, especially in the times that we're in today, is a challenging time. And this is where, local leaders and people really need to step up and voice their opinions and voice their knowledge and experience on what they're doing and how we can make this society a better place, because right now we are in a challenging time.
Absolutely, Trent, and thank you for joining. So glad you could be here, and good to see the growth that you've had since high school. Very proud of our classmates as well, you being one of them. So again, thank you. Yes, these are some trying times that we're in, and this series on leader attributes, I think, will help a lot of leaders navigate through some of these times, especially when we talk about relationship leadership and how they connect to all their people that they might be leading and people during this time. So relationships are critical to leader growth and development. So we're hoping people can get something that they can use from today's discussion. So as we prepare to dive in, I always ask an icebreaker question just to break the ice so people get to know you a little bit more personally. I know you personally, but our audience does not. So pick a card, any card. I'm going to draw this one for you. All right. So your question is, when do you feel like you most belong? When do you feel like you most belong?
That's a great question. When do I feel like I most belong? I think I feel I most belong when you wake up in the morning. When you wake up, you have that energy, you have that spirit, you have that drive. That lets you know you belong. The big guy upstairs has touched you and said, "Wake up! It's a brand new day. It's time to do some business. It's time to help somebody." That tells me I belong. Just the spirit, the energy, and that that sense of drive to work with other individuals and to be a part of something, whatever that something is. I think is special, and that lets me know that I belong. The reaction from people when you talk to them, when you're in a group or you're in a meeting And, I like to say, I like to read body languages and facial expressions, etc. And when you are speaking, and you can, even though everything is Zoom now, you can kind of see the facial expressions when you're speaking and you're talking and you're giving your positions on certain things, and just seeing the nods of the heads or the eyeballs going up high, or the eyes, blurting out with excitement, that tells me I belong.
Okay. Well, these questions are very interesting, and you never know what you're going to get. They do have a little bit of a diversity spin to them, since I'm involved with diversity. These cards really have a lot of meaning for me and for the people that I ask. They always go, good question. So yeah, so when you wake out of bed, you're connected to the spirit, you're connected to people throughout your day, and you reading body language to see how you're connecting. So great segue into our topic. Really, recently on a real world leadership conversation, actually the last one we just had was on trust, which kind of dovetails and segues in it. If people missed it, they can go back and listen to that one as well, and I think you'll really enjoy it. But trust, relationships, connections, it's all kind of woven in, but certainly part of developing leaders and attributes as a leader as you think about your growth and development for your people. So the topic is relationship leadership. And there's 4 things that we want to really hit on today: what you offer to the relationship, who you know, how to connect and collaborate, and how to build bridges. So we're hoping we hit on some of those things. So Trent, leaders are always influencing, right? And to influence, you have to exercise your people skills. You have to be able to lead people that you're seeking to engage with, as well as the people that are your direct reports, etc. And you talked about connection just a moment ago as a part of belonging and having that sense of belonging. And people want to have that sense of belonging. They want to have a relationship with people. It's one of those key attributes that goes hand in hand with getting things done, moving things to completion. It comes naturally from you, from what I've observed. You've always been that person to connect with people. You are a class president. Everybody knows you. You can't walk down the street without people hollering at you, which I think is a testament to your relationship leadership. So I can recall a time way back where you always would tell me, well, you didn't always tell me, but this is something that stuck with me. It's not what you know, it's who you know. It's something that seems to work well for you. What would you attribute to your seemingly less ease of building relationships with people?
Be yourself. I think I am just who I am. I don't come off, at least I try not to come off being phony. I think people read into individuals who are phony, the fake smile. Oh, hello, how are you? Nah. Be yourself. When you meet people, give the people the true side of you. But also have fun. I think people miss that element, that fun element of individualism. Smile. It's okay to smile. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to say a good joke. Not a derogatory joke, but a good joke. It's okay to make fun of yourself, because I think, when people gravitate towards you and they believe in you, or they want to be around you, it's because you are being your true natural self. And I think when you bring that mentality to individuals, you make people relaxed. And there's nothing better when you meet somebody and wow, right out of the gate, you're just relaxed. You're just like, wow, I can get to know this guy. I can get to know this young lady because they're authentic on who they are. And the last thing I'll say on that is smile. I think a smile goes a long ways when you're meeting people and when you're talking to people, and then just having that positive energy. Energy to me is one of the most important things individuals should bring to the table, because when people see that strong energy in you, and they see that passion and they see that motivation in you, they can't help but to want to hang out with you and get to know you and learn from you, and then also you can learn from them as well. So never think you don't have the ability to learn from other individuals, even individuals you just meet.
Very good. Some good words of wisdom there. Let me just do a quick recap on a few of them. Smile, for sure. Have fun, be yourself. And, I'm all about authenticity, and folks that I work with, we coach them on that all the time, how to be yourself, yet, be that leader. How do you have that, that the boundaries between leadership and being yourself with people, and thinking that there's, a difference, but, you got to be yourself. Right. Anyway, so why not just be yourself? There's no difference between me being a leader now than who I am necessarily. Exactly. So helping people to understand that, relax, help people to relax and bring your positive energy are some things that you talk about. So those things help me or cause me to think about brand and relationship, brand as part of the relationship and what you have to offer. So, before someone even meets you, they might know about you. Your reputation might precede you, right? So talk to me a bit about, your brand, how you consider your brand. If you were to define it into maybe three traits or characteristics of your brand and what you offer, what would those three things be?
Presentation. Who represents me better than me? So I always feel when I walk out of the house, I'm prepared physically and mentally. So when I walk into a room, if I have to speak or something, you get a split second to make an everlasting impression. So people are already profiling you right out of the gate. What you wear, your glasses, the clothes you're wearing, if you're wearing a suit, if you have a tie on, all of that matters to me. So that self-presentation is one, representing yourself. I think that's important, because again, we as individuals, especially as African-American men, we want to walk into the room and we don't want to be profiled on a negative perspective, but we want to be profiled on a positive perspective. We want to be profiled or looked at like, whoa, who's this cat? What is he all about? That's number one. Number two, then when you speak, when you bring out the knowledge and you bring out the passion, whatever topic that you're talking about, you capture their attention. Now, you capture their attention because now you've got them based on personal presentation. Number two, you capture their attention based on how you speak, how you bring the information that you're going to be speaking on and how you're talking. And then the third thing I would say, engagement. Anytime when you're speaking in front of individuals, make sure that you engage them in the conversation. Don't be about yourself. I want to just hear myself talk, so I'll talk for an hour and a half and bore the heck out of people. Engage them.
Yes.
Have that presentation. Speak for about 30 to 45 minutes and have that topic and engage your audience on the topic that you're talking about, because I think it keeps their attention towards you. So now at the end of the day, when you leave the room or you leave the event that you were speaking at or the event that you were at, these are three things that are going to be everlasting in their impressions. That guy was sharp, he was clean, he can speak, and he made it fun. He engaged us. He got us involved in the topic of conversation that we were here to speak on, and he just didn't throw out a whole bunch of information and just speak to us to make himself look better than what he really is, but he spoke to us and engaged us in that topic.
Okay, very good. And good recap on those three things: your presentation, your visual, how you're visually presenting yourself, how you're orally communicating and expressing yourself, and how you're engaging, connecting with people, where it's not about you, but you're also engaging and connecting with them, which will help build a relationship. So those are some things that you can offer, or you can kind of set up when you think about making connections with people, what your character is, how they might want to connect with you. What about you is going to be beneficial for them to want to even listen to what it is that you have to say, or what you're looking to seek in terms of collaborating. So when you're looking to connect and network with someone, how do you position, yourself to make that connection?
Susan, I just simply walk up to an individual and say, hello.
I'm with you. If I
Yeah,
gotta get to someone, I'm gonna get to them. So
right, right. I mean, a good hello goes a long ways.
hello.
Just go up and introduce yourself. Hello, my name
Okay.
is Trent. How are you doing today?
Mhm.
I loved what you said. I love the topic that you talked about. I'd like to get to know a little bit more. Is there an opportunity that we can sit down and have coffee, or even maybe go to lunch, and maybe we can collaborate on some of the things that I'm doing in the community, some of the things that you're doing in the community. Maybe we can collaborate our resources and
Mhm.
and expand our knowledge, and take this, maybe be able to take our knowledge and our experiences to another level. But it just simply starts with a hello.
Mhm.
Somebody told me years ago, closed mouths don't get fed. Gotta open up
That's
your mouth.
another one. I've heard that one too.
Yep, yep. Closed mouths don't get fed. Gotta
That
open your
means if you
mouth.
want something, you need to ask or speak on it, put it out there.
And the other thing I'll say on that too, Susan, is do not be afraid of the word no.
Hmm.
Because when I was believe it or not, I had the fear of the word no as a young man. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of people
Okay.
don't know this. Because if I just give you an example, you remember the Riverview, back in
Uh-huh.
the good old days, you go to the club, and
Uh-huh.
that was a very small, I was a small, guy
That's
in high
cool.
school. So I
Yeah.
didn't have the height or the weight. Not only was I small, I was skinny too. So I
Uh-huh.
didn't really have, even though people may have thought or assumed that I had all this confidence, but I didn't. I was afraid of the word no. So, as a young man, if somebody were to tell me no, and I always contribute, like if I was trying to talk to a young lady or something, and if I go ask her, what would you like to dance? And she said no, that would be it for me. My night was ruined.
You're done.
You know, but something came over me though. Something
Okay.
came over me. Something said, "Hey, you know what? We look at baseball. A man goes up to bat or a woman goes up to bat, and if they get 3 hits out of 10 tries. They're batting 300. That's considered good. That's considered a good batting average. So I kind of took those terms. I said, well, all I need is one yes. One yes makes the night. And then
Mhm.
I took that mentality into business when I started to become a loan officer and going into the sales world. One yes is a deal.
Mhm.
But how do I get that one yes? I have to be willing to accept a lot of no's. And
Mhm.
if I get 3 yeses in one day, that's 3 deals. And if I get 3 deals a day, 3 times, do the math, 3 times 5 is 15. That's 15 deals in a week.
Mhm.
15 deals in a week, et cetera, et cetera. Look at now the deals that you're starting to close. Now your confidence starts to get stronger, and
Mhm.
you're not. And again, let's not mistake confidence for an ego,
Right.
because when you start to get an ego, that means you start to become arrogant, you know. But confidence is what really started to help me and help me get over, that phobia of being told no. A lot of
Mhm.
people didn't know that. I was definitely afraid of the word no, but then I had to, like I said, I had to start thinking. One no, even in the nightclub situation, if I get one number, that's an opportunity.
There you go.
So took that mentality and that philosophy into sales,
Uh-huh.
and I get one yes, then another yes. But in order to get those yeses, you got to be able to pick up the phone. You got to be willing to go and approach people. And if you're not willing to go and approach people, then you're going to always find yourself in the back of the line
Mhm.
trying to figure out how do I, what's going on here.
Right.
Remember, what we're doing, we are all, at the end of the day, we are all individuals. We are all just people.
Mhm.
And if
And
we
you know what,
remember
Trent?
that, go ahead.
Yeah, fear holds so many people back,
Mhm.
and so, in that story, you talked about how you overcame your fear, to get what it is that you wanted in
Mhm.
that case, which was the phone number. Right? So when you think about relationships with your people that you're working with, those that you're leading and your influencer, colleagues, talk a little bit about, getting to yes in that case, when you need to connect and have some mutual benefit, not just, I want to get the number, but,
Right.
mutual gain and benefits. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. So I would look at it in this perspective. One of the things that I do a lot is, again, sitting on some of these committees and,
Hmm.
sitting on some of these leadership committees, and, I speak on my philosophy and how I work with clients,
Hmm.
so when I'm explaining, to clients, it's all about building those relationships because the
Hmm.
home ownership industry, especially in the African American community, is really, it's at an all time, we're always at the bottom. So we had to kind of figure out how do we grow the home ownership percentages in this business. And I had to kind of take a step back and say to myself, okay, it's not about the check. It's not about getting the commission check. It's about building that relationship. So how do
Hmm.
I build the relationship? That's one of the things I had to kind of sit back and start thinking. How do I build relationships with potential home buyers? How do I build relationships with colleagues that are in the industry, i.e. real estate agents or brokers or title companies, what may have you? How do I build these relationships? And what came to me was consultations, having consultations, understanding the products that you can offer or understanding the products that your bank offers. And then also meeting with your potential home buyer and talking to them about the relationship and letting them know right from the gate, I'm in it for the long haul. This is a journey. One of the things I always try to share with individuals that I work with, I always tell them this: it's never a fast no, it's always a slow yes. Where did that come from? Because back in the good old days, you go to a lender or a bank and they would just deny you immediately. Didn't
Hmm.
really give you any options or reasons. They kind of gave you the reason, but they really didn't share with you how you can get to the next level. So I started thinking years ago, let's build the relationships with it's never a fast no, but it's always a slow yes. This is a journey. But how do we, in the end game, what's the end game? Getting you those keys. So building those relationships is a slow process. Building those relationships, having conversations, talking to clients about their credit, talking to clients about their assets, talking to clients about income, affordability, what can you afford, lifestyle. And sometimes, people look at you and they think because you sit on this side of the desk that you didn't experience the challenges that they're experiencing. But then
Okay.
I
So,
also, yep.
yeah. So, sorry to interrupt. So, one thing I think that you said there was the consultations. It sounds like you're, setting up what they can expect, but also asking some open questions when you're
Mm-hmm,
consulting about them and,
mm-hmm.
what's important for them. Is
Right,
that
right.
true?
Yes. And Susan, it's about the behavior, right?
Right.
So when you want to be, I use this scenario because this is the world I'm in. This is the world I live in when it comes to home ownership. So I use the scenario because one of the questions that we ask is, where do you see your mortgage payment, including taxes, insurance, mortgage insurance, etc. And what does that number look like? And how can you maintain lifestyle? So when we put people into these programs, and then we talk to them about the programs, we talk to them about conventional, FHA, specialty programs. Believe it or not, you'll be surprised on a lot of individuals feel if you've had bad credit in the past, that's an automatic ticket to denial, or that's an automatic ticket to you can't be a homeowner, or if you've
Mhm.
filed bankruptcy, because this is what's been planted in, that seed, that negative seed has been planted in their heads. Oh, I filed bankruptcy, I'll never be able to buy a house. Or if I owned a home previous and lost that home and I have a foreclosure, well, I'll never be able to be a homeowner again because I had a foreclosure. Again, these are those negative seeds that have been planted. Or, if I had bad debt in the past, there's no way I can increase or improve my credit. Again, negative seeds. When we do the consultation, what we're
Uh-huh.
doing is we're dismissing those negative seeds. What we're doing is we're letting that client know how valuable they are. And if you want this, if this is something you want to have and you want to be a homeowner, we're going to help you get there because we have the programs, we have the products to help you get there. And I think when we do those consultations, and then we end up closing, whether it be 3 months, 6 months, a year. I mean, there's where the relationship now takes off, because what's going to end up happening is those individuals are going to start telling their friends and their families, hey.
Okay, so yeah, I'm getting at you through the consulting, you help them see what's possible about what they want, despite some of the things that they may have happened in their past, which solidifies the relationships and brings forth some referrals and getting word of mouth and reputation about the relationship that you have. So let me ask you this.
One thing before you go there, I wanted just to add this, but this only works. It only works. We have to change some of our behaviors as well. Our spending patterns, our sometimes, if I could share this scenario, I remember, I worked with a young lady a few years ago, and, great credit scores, but didn't have any money, didn't have any assets, and I was asking her, well, where's your money going? I mean, work 2 jobs, make great money, and her thing was, I like to travel. I like to go on vacations. And I'm like, well, dang, you got to go on vacation 3-4 times a year, because it's tapping. My new saying is, it's tapping your tomorrow money. See, and that's another thing we have to talk about, is that tomorrow money, making sure that we have reserves, to be able to, have funds for emergency purposes, or have funds, in case something happens with our employer.
That's your emergency fund, your cash reserve. You're going into financial planning now.
Yeah. So I mean, but that's the lending business. It's more. You're more than just a loan officer.
Right.
You are kind of a financial. I won't say a counselor, but I would say like a financial advisor, if you will.
Right. So I know, or consultant, I know financial advisors, they have to go through a lot of
better word, consult. Yeah. I don't want to take away from anybody who's a financial advisor.
Right. We don't want to think. We don't want to give people the wrong idea.
Yeah.
So consultant for sure. Which I've got those. I've had those. Actually, I don't have them anymore. But it's then you can say, once you've passed those exams, certain exams, you can say you're an advisor. But anywho, back to the relationships. Some people think that with relationships, they immediately think politics to sustain these relationships. So that's why people are trying to build relationships. So for some people, there could be kind of an edge or heightened awareness, some kind of guard can go up when you talk about building relationships. And some people can be more political about them and having them serve particular political needs. But what's your take on that thought?
I think if you're looking at it in a political perspective, then it's basically, and this is my own humble opinion, then that's more of a selfish.
It's not mutual. It's not that mutual collaboration.
Yeah.
Or could it be mutual, but still, for political gains, and that could just be just how it is.
It can be. I personally, for myself, I keep the politics out of it. If I want to, I'm building relationships based on, based on realism. I don't want anything from you. What I want is to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the community. What I want is to make sure that we're helping individuals obtain some of the goals that they want to obtain, whether it's in home ownership or whatever the field or the goal that they're trying to make. I don't do this for, if I do this for you, then, then I want you to.
It's not like quid pro quo or
exactly
like that.
Exactly. We don't do the quid pro quo type of.
That's not what it should be about.
No.
Relationships should be about mutual interest, about connection. What's in it for you? What's in it for me? There should be some mutual benefit. But I hear you on the scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. That's not the aim that you're approach. Okay. So relationships are about building bridges, connections. We talked about that a little bit. And occasionally, you might have a relationship where it didn't work out the way that you intended, and there's some hard feelings, and you need to sunset a relationship intentionally or unintentionally, so to speak. How do you manage when there's been kind of a rift in a relationship?
It's a great question. And it's really a simple answer. Humble yourself.
Okay, tell me more. Humble myself.
Humble yourself. Sometimes you got to be the bigger person. Sometimes whether you were wrong or whether you feel you were right, and how important is this relationship to sustain? I mean, we all get mad at each other. We all have, we can agree to disagree, but sometimes just a simple phone call or simple face-to-face meeting and to say, you know what, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Goes a long way.
Be the person to be humble, to make that first step.
Sometimes you have
to initiate the reconciliation, the forgiveness and the reconciliation.
Well, again, you have to also look at how valuable is this relationship? How much value do you put in this relationship? Because at the end of the day, I honestly believe being angry and holding a grudge against somebody is stress.
Sure.
See that negative energy. If we can't say something, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a saint, and trust me, I've experienced my challenges in life. But if we hold grudges, if someone says something about somebody, and the first thing you want to say is something derogatory about that individual, well, that you are allowing that individual to really have some kind of power over you. And you cannot allow people to have that much power over you because because you guys had a riff or you had a challenge, and and neither one of you want to humble yourselves to just say, I'm sorry, my bad. And then when somebody says something about that individual, what diminishes it, because you also have to be you have to be careful of the planters. I like to call them people who plant seeds and who want to keep rifts going, who want to keep derogatory relationships moving forward. You have to be very careful, because if they know or have known you had a riff or a disagreement with somebody, and every time when they bring that individual up, it's always, remember when that person did this to you, and then you feed right into it. Yeah, man, I couldn't believe that, and blah, blah. Then what ends up happening is that response that you gave to that individual goes back to the individual that you had that riff with. Now the relationship really, now it starts to stretch on a negative perspective. Right. So sometimes you just got to just bring it in, humble yourself, say, I'm sorry, move on. And then when someone brings that individual's name up, the only response you should say is, I hope they're doing good.
Okay, very good. It's interesting, it sounds like you've, managed yourself around, these themes around relationships and knowing when, something's going left and when you need to kind of check in, see what's happening before a relationship goes south. Or if a relationship goes south, it's a valuable relationship, how to restore that relationship. Right. And we've coached people on, certain things, again, that stress, we call it catabolic energy, which it is. Those things create negative stress hormones in your body, which could lead to, disease and
strokes,
and things of that nature. Heart attacks, heart disease. So if you're harboring that type of energy, it can be catastrophic. So encourage people, if they are going through something like that, or they find that that's something that's distracting them from being what they should be and what they're trying to do in terms of living and leading their best life, then those are things that we help people uncover. So thank you for sharing that. To be humble, be the bigger person, to make the first step toward reconciliation. All right, so Trent, I think we've talked about quite a bit, a little bit about, what you're bringing to the table when you're trying to build relationships with others, and you're making sure you're presenting and communicating effectively and showing up in a way that somebody would want to have a relationship with you, ways to reach out to people, to connect, to have that relationship for mutual benefit, as well as, keeping those relationships healthy and kind of course correcting when they get a little bit off track. I wanted to know if there's anything lastly that you'd like to share as we prepare to close with our audience that might be helpful for them on this topic of relationship leadership.
Yeah, I would say, I would say this. all leaders who are out there and leaders who are in a position to help another individual, always remember, and this is what I live by, this credo: somebody helped me. Somebody helped me. So it is our duty to help somebody else and pay it forward. Remember, we all get into our titles. I'm the vice president of this, or I'm the senior vice president of this, I'm the CEO of this, or I'm the CFO of that. But before you became the CFO or a CEO or a VP, you were a cashier. Before you became any of these high title positions, you may have did some maintenance and cleaned the bathroom or did something of that nature. You may have threw newspapers at a front door. You know, there's a number of things we did as we were growing and going into our careers. So before, you know, just remember, somebody helped you. So before we tell somebody or give somebody a fast no, just remember, someone gave you an opportunity, and always remember to pay it forward, because that might be the next president that you're saying no to. That might be the next CEO. That might be the next CFO or may have you. So just remember that.
All right. Well, Trent, thank you for sharing that wisdom with us. Somebody helped me, and you know, I'm always looking to pay that forward when people reach out and would look to connect, if it's on LinkedIn or what have you. I'm always looking, you know, to connect with them in some way. I always say yes and accept those meeting invites. I might not even know them, you know, I'm like, oh, they met me through so-and-so, maybe, you know, or that reputation you have, someone is reaching out to you. So you just never know where it will lead. And you should, if you're in a position to help. That's my motto. One of the things that I live by. So thank you again. As we prepare to close, just a quick reminder of who we are at Truth Enterprise Partners. We help individuals and leaders discover their true potential with consulting and coaching, whether it's relationship leadership you're looking to develop or something else. We have tools, techniques, and expertise to enable your performance. You can learn more about us at truthenterprisepartners.com. You can certainly email me at susan.johnson@truthenterprisepartners.com or call me at 612-237-1559. Trent is, again, a VP in the mortgage industry. His contact information is tbowman@midwest1.com, and he's reached at 612-201-0486. And Trent is in the home ownership area. So if you're looking for a home in the Minneapolis area, certainly reach out to him. So Trent, again, thank you so much. I appreciate you for sharing your views on relationship leadership. Like I said, you're certainly an expert on the topic, having contacts everywhere in the city of Minneapolis, as well as other parts of the world, I'm sure. And so I've always been impressed at how you connect with people and how you build relationships and how you've been sharing your wisdom with our audience today. So we appreciate you being our guest. And thank you all for joining us as well. This has been Real World Leadership with your moderator and leadership guru. I'm Susan Johnson, and we look forward to connecting with you again real soon.